give a little update on what's been going on with this Ventrac and the repairs. It's all been good news. I know some people have questioned the quality of the machine. Some people have wondered about what's going on. Not many, but they're out there, and I just want to make sure I document everything. You know, when I bought my Mahindra a few years ago, it had an issue on the dash. The fuel gauge always reads incorrectly. Had it into the shop a few times. Mahindra is not wanting to repair it because apparently the hour meter is part of the dash and the fuel gauge is part of the dash, and you have to replace the whole dash. So that was an initial build quality issue on Mahindra. The tractor's been working great for 2 years, still trying to get it fixed. The last fix this past 7 months ago, the dealership's been really helpful on Mahindra that I go to. They tweaked the gas gauge so that it read correctly, but then something else happened in the gas gauge. Well, now you got the temperature and the gas gauge. Well, when you start the machine, the temperature stays low, but now the gas gauge reads over full, so the temperature gauge doesn't show accurately. As you run the machine, the temperature goes up and hits the fuel gauge, and until I'm almost out of fuel, then the temperature gauge can pop up, and the gauge will read 3/4 full, and I'll run out of fuel, and I'm walking down to the barn to get some more diesel. So I say all that to say I understand machines have initial build quality issues and things just kind of happen. So in this Ventrac, you know, I'm not trying to be a whiner, not trying to be a complainer, not trying to get any type of special treatment. I just wanted to document the process for myself, my wife, family members. Maybe if somebody watched the videos that I put out there, they would glean some knowledge that helped them some. I'm not mentioning names of anybody I dealt with, service department, dealership. That doesn't matter. It ended up back at the service department. They looked at it, they figured out what was going on, and it was what I thought and what several other people said. There was a fitting that was not quite all the way tight, and the hydraulics are such high pressure that as you started using the machine, it had a little spray out of one of the fittings. They tightened it up, topped the fluids off, and supposedly the machine is fixed. Waiting for it to come in. They picked it up on a Wednesday. Picked it up on a Wednesday, got back in the shop. Thursday I got a call that it's done, but then we had Good Friday. So they were testing it, they were driving it around, they were going to put an hour worth of use on the meter, bring it back out to me Monday is what they said, after they verified everything was okay. I don't care about an hour's worth of use. I'd rather have them check the machine out, make sure it's all okay before I get it back again. You know, it is 4 hours from them to me to drive out. That's 8 hours to take it back to the shop. There's 12 hours for the guy to get back here to me, and then there's 16 hours. So there's 16 hours of drive time for that guy, just coming out, picking the machine up, and then taking it back. Warranty, covered free and clear. I have all of maybe 200 views, I think. Doesn't matter. I don't care. If you like the videos, watch them. If you don't, don't. But I have all the 200 views. But what's interesting is before I called the dealer service department, I called Ventrac service. And I talked to them a little bit. They gave me some things to look at. Like I said in the other video, very friendly. Out of the blue, Friday, I got a phone call from Danny at Ventrac. Actual Ventrac, not the dealer. Surprised me. We chatted for a good long time. Very friendly individual, very helpful. He knew the people at the dealership, knew of them, apparently met them. I guess one of the processes is when you're a dealer, you get sent to Ventrac. I don't know if Ventrac pulls you, the dealer pushes you. I don't know how that works, don't care. But Danny had met these individuals when they all went to the Ventrac shop to get kind of trained on service, product line, etc., etc. I say all this to say the machine's fixed. I'll have it back. Didn't cost me a penny. I was out the machine, couldn't do anything out here. The hillside behind me, haven't even gotten to think about what I'm going to do over there with this machine yet. But Ventrac as a company, they stood behind this machine. They reached out to me. I called, Jeremy, I think was the gentleman's name at the service department at Ventrac. Chatted with him. He gave me some things to try and things to look at, but told me in the end I'm gonna have to go through the service process. And I was like, fair enough. Went through it and it was painless. Yes, I was down, but it was painless. Warranty was stood behind 110%. And then Danny reached out to me proactively. It just impressed me as a company that they cared enough to call and get my input on what was happening for some podunk little individual. I'm not a golf course. I'm not a government agency. I don't have any 3-letter acronyms. I'm not a city or state. I'm just a guy out here in the hills trying to keep my property under control. I'm not going to be buying a fleet of Ventracs. And they took the time to call me to make sure everything was okay. Mahindra hasn't called me yet. It's been 2 years. Not saying Mahindra's bad. Not saying Ventrac's good. Saying I'm impressed with a company that takes the time to reach out and see what's going on. Danny even said, we'll see what happens. If he doesn't come, fair. He's got things to do. He's running the business. I'm just, Joe Dirt farmer. Not even a farmer. Joe Dirt sit out here trying to make something of this place. But Danny said he was going to try and make some time to come out and visit us, go over everything, see what I got going on out here, just to kind of check in and see how their machine's being used. Make sure that I understand everything and make sure I'm happy. Chevy never came out and made sure my truck was okay. Neither did Ford or Toyota. Mahindra sure hasn't. My neighbor downside of the hill over there's got a Kubota. He's got a New Holland over there. I've never heard of them having a dealership come out and check on their stuff. Not saying a dealer should, not saying they shouldn't. But what does that say about a company and their dedication to their product line? I gotta say I'm happy. I'm not happy that the machine went through this initially, but they stood behind the machine, they got it fixed, and we have to understand nothing except for maybe a rubber ball is ever going to be perfect when it's initially manufactured. There's always going to be a problem somewhere, especially when you got as many hoses and fittings and knobs and levers and nuts and bolts as one of these machines does. I've had no issue with this side-by-side here. I probably will now that I said that, but I'm sure something's not quite right somewhere that's just minor enough I haven't noticed. Is it perfect? No, I don't like how you have to get to the battery. The battery's kind of a pain to get to, but that's not a manufacturing defect. It's a design thing. I just say that everything's going to have a problem somewhere, and it's up to us to decide how do we want to deal with it. Do we want to sit there pounding our chest, yelling and screaming, causing just nothing but negativity everywhere we go? Or do we want to say, you know what? Let's talk to people. Let's be fair. Let's be honest. Let's see what happens. That's the approach I decided to take, and we'll see Monday if it shows up, and I fully expect it will based on how the service department went. And as I've said in the comment, when you buy a machine, service department's where you're going to end up spending all your time. You don't go back to the sales department and tell them you need a new belt, new battery, new spark plug. Oh, I got a hydraulic leak, or I'm not happy with how the suspension seat works. That sales department, they collected their commission, they moved on to the next victim. They probably don't care. The sales, right? The dealership sales. You go to a Ford dealer, you buy a new truck. You go to Toyota, you buy a new vehicle. You think that salesman, once they collected their commission check, is really going to care a whole lot about what you have to say? Yes, they'll do the obligatory cards, hope you're happy, the stuff that the Toyota's going to tell them they have to send you. But in the grand scheme of things, they're busy rounding up more business so they can make another sale so that they can make their mortgage payment at the end of the month. Service department doesn't go through all that. So if you're out there shopping for something, pay attention to the machine, look at the reliability, and then in the end, red, orange, green, blue, doesn't matter. Find a machine that's going to work for you, has the specs you want, and then go talk to the service department. See what you think of them. If you have time and the company's willing, call up their 800 number. See if they chat with you. I did that with Ventrac twice before I bought the machine. And both times, very willing to talk to me. Didn't even own a machine. They didn't know how serious or not serious I was. I don't think it would be fair for everybody just to spam call Ventrac. That would not be cool. But, you know, just call up, ask some questions. And I do this at my day job. You know, when I'm evaluating a new company as a potential something we're going to purchase, I'll call up their service line. And if they advertise 24-hour service for a couple products that we purchased, call them up at, 8 in the morning, call them up at 4 in the afternoon, call them up at 8 at night, call them up at 4 in the morning. Do they truly have 24-hour service, and how responsive is the service at those off hours? Now, obviously, Ventrac doesn't have 24-hour service. Just an example. Check with the company. See how you like the personnel. Are people easy to deal with? Well, even though there's still the daylight is starting to come out, enough of Ventrac. In the end, it's all good. Even though the sunlight is starting to come, the weather has not been cooperative at all day today. Since 7 a.m. it's been raining and then a little cloudy, sun peeked out once or twice, and then rainy. So I did some of my chores, ran to town, got a couple things. But at this point, it's just cool enough. I don't know that I want to start doing anything. Plus, I need to head over to a friend's house who's having a retirement party here pretty soon. Congratulate him on moving on to the next phase of life where he can enjoy what we have out here. So I think I'm done for the day. I say we all sit back, enjoy a beverage, and be thankful for what we have.